Hello, class and professor. My name is Wes Meserve, and I did my project proposal on the music industry. My question is, does the modern music industry affect our younger society in any way? And if so, what are these effects? I'm going to start off with talking about the introduction. Music is an extremely influential force on all humans. Every person has a different opinion about the various types of music, and each person likes his or her own type of music. Music can send many different feelings, and some of them may be anger, relaxation, soothing, energetic, and many other emotions as well. There are also a lot of different types of music that people listen to. Music is a huge thing in which young people grow up on. Young people may tend to hang around people who listen to the same types of music as they do. They also may not want to associate with someone who does not like their music, so somebody who likes country music may not want to hang out with someone who likes rap music, and vice versa. Artists like to talk about certain things that happen in their life, and so listeners who may be going through the same thing may listen to the songs and enjoy them since they can relate to them. This gives them more of a comforting feeling, knowing that someone else is out there going through the same thing, and someone very famous, that is. Music also gives listeners new ideas as they listen to what they are talking about, and they can learn a lot from these artists. Rap has a very big impact in the world today. The lyrics that are in rap songs usually involve sex, drugs, and alcohol, and parents just simply do not want their kids to listen to these lyrics. Parents do not want their kids to be involved in any of this at a young age. Studies have actually been shown that people who are more into rap music and sing these songs have done drugs at least once in their lifetime. A lot of other times, a type of music that one listens to makes them who they are, and having an influence at a younger age is very important. A very important quote from Richard and Scott that I found is they say, "It is believed that children shape their identities, values, and behaviors by drawing clues from their environments." Next, the top 5 music hits are almost hip-hop, pop, and rap nowadays. Right now, this is what the American public wants to hear. 80% of the rap music that is on the top 10 list around the world today does contain violence. A lot of times they glorify the acts of beating up another person or even worse, shooting them. Also, a very important event that happened in the 1990s when a rivalry between East and West Coast rappers took the lives of the two biggest rappers of the era, Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. Also, a year before that, in 1989, a group called NWA. It stands for something very explicit, so I'm not really going to say what it stands for because it's kind of bad to say in the presentation, but it's NWA. They came out of LA, California, and changed rap into what was the start of gangster rap. In this group's lyrics, they talked simply about street violence, killing, and crime. After NWA, Dr. Dre took over. This is after NWA broke up. Dr. Dre took over, and he basically took rap to an even higher level than it had never been before, which scared many people. He rapped about drive-bys, having sex with hundreds of women, drinking alcohol all the day, and much more. After this, the crime rate was very high, and who knows if this was because of his songs. However, back in the day, it was a very different story. Yes, some of the lyrics were intense and all, however, the bands wrote more about their emotion, and it was shown behind their songs. Rap was invented in the 1980s, and a very popular group back then was called the Sugar Hill Gang. They had a very popular song that was called Rapper's Delight, that I actually love that song too. It's a pretty good song. It doesn't even have any swears or violence in it, and it does have sexuality, however, it's nowhere close to what it is today. Another popular rap group is called Cool Mo D, who sings I Got to Work. It seems like the intelligence of these songs is there, and it's selling a pretty good message to the public. This next one is actually going to show you a quick little viewing of this song.
Stop, rock it out, baby, rubber to the boogity bang bang, the boogie to the boogity beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I rap it to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello. Up to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta...
Alright, so that's a kind of a little clip of that song. It's a pretty good song too. So now I'm going to compare the new music we have today. Some of the very popular ones we have today are Jay-Z, Flo Rida, and Ying Twins. Jay-Z sings a song 99 Problems. Flo Rida has one called Whistle. Ying Twins have one called Wait, or the Whisper Song. And I wanted to include a little description of these, or a video on this presentation too. I just simply couldn't because they're just too explicit and the sexual nature is just pretty bad. I don't want to have that for a school presentation, so that's why I didn't put them on here. Next, about MTV and music videos. Music videos are when artists can portray basically anything they like, and a lot of music videos have to do with violence, drugs, and alcohol, and sex. Music videos are basically made and used as a marketing technique to promote the sale of the artist's records. MTV was created in 1980 as well as BET, and this was the beginning of an era of a 24-hour-a-day music on television. Then 5 years later, in 1985, MTV launched VH1, which is another version of MTV. There's a quote that I thought was very interesting too. From Child Refuge, it says, "Though music videos are particularly entertaining, especially for those who love music in general, too much exposure to it can lead to negative effects. Statistically speaking, children and teens are the most vulnerable to these effects. The younger members of the population are the ones who spend the most time watching music videos. Even though lyrics are bad, they're nothing compared to music videos. Not only does a viewer simply hear the explicit lyrics, they also get to see the portrayal of images and motion pictures with sexual themes and violence as well. Rap and hip-hop videos are very notorious for containing graphic and explicit showing of girls or women depicted as mere sex objects by men." And for technology advancements, currently we have made numerous amounts of advancements in this decade, and we continue to do so. With the invention of the internet, MTV and music videos are available to whoever, whenever they want to watch one. Also, with the invention of portable, handheld devices like the iPod, iPhone, smartphones, iPad, tablets, and all those kind of things, they're basically anything is at the touch of anyone's fingertips. These violent and sexual depicting music videos are made more available to children through these devices. Also, these phones and portable devices are being owned by younger and younger people every year, which gives them access to this content. I was actually at work a few days ago, and a little 2-year-old had an iPhone, and she was just looking at all this stuff too, which just made me, I was just very astounded at it. I could not believe it. They're able to watch and view whatever they want, whenever they want to. All this technology was just not available back in the day, and music videos weren't there as easily accessible as it is right now. Next, we'll be talking about some crime rates. I have made a very interesting discovery about a particular study. This actually study showed that it was done with about 522 black girls between 14 and 18 years old from non-urban, lower socio-economical neighborhoods. Researchers found that compared to those who never or rarely watch these videos, the girls who viewed these gangster videos for at least 14 hours a week were far more likely to practice numerous destructive behaviors. Over the course of 1 year study, they were 3 times more likely to hit a teacher, over 2.5 times more likely to get arrested, twice as likely to have multiple sexual partners, and 1.5 times more likely to get a sexually transmitted disease, use drugs, or drink alcohol. So, I basically want to find out if rap and our music contributes to our younger generation having a younger loss of innocence. Does the modern music industry affect our younger society in any way, and if so, what are these effects? Now we'll get into my research part for the sampling. I know Professor Goodman had mentioned this quote during Topic 2 in my courses by William Trotcham. It says that sampling is the process of selecting units from a population of interest so that by studying the sample we may fairly generalize our results back to the population from which they were chosen. Sampling is a very important part of my research as well as everyone else's research proposal. I will be comparing 3 different towns in Massachusetts. I picked the state because it would be the easiest. We live here, and there are also lots of variation with the towns and the cities. Also, Massachusetts violent crime has increased since the year 2007, and maybe the reason is because of the influences of music. There are many cities with crime, many with little crime, and many with, crime just in the middle. I have picked 3 different cities that will be of good research value. They are West Newbury, Salisbury, and New Bedford. All of these cities do have an upward trend in crime, and they're all on the low crime, the middle crime, and the high crime area. West Newbury is the town that's going to be on the low end of crime. They are below the state average as well as the country average in crime rate. Their violent crime rate was below national average by 66% and below state average by 70%. The property crime rate was below national average by 75% and below state average by 69%. And I do actually have some graphs right here about West Newbury. You can see that West Newbury is in green, Massachusetts is in blue, and the country level is in orange. And you can see that West Newbury is below everyone by quite a significant amount. It's for property crime. This one's for the violent crime, and you can see that they're very below all the other ones as well too. Gets a little close here. They're still below for the most part. Now, Luker has stated, you need to look at cases where the variables you're attempting to explain actually vary. By choosing 3 different cities with different criminal backgrounds is a great way to get 3 different samples of data and compare the differences between them. The second city that I chose was Salisbury. It's located on the North Shore, right next to West Newbury. Salisbury is pretty much neutral in criminal rates. The town's rates are very close to the state rates as well as the national levels. Their violent crime rate is above national average by 3% and lower than state average by 10%. Their property crime rate is below national average by 25% and below state average by 6%. And here is another graph for Salisbury. You can see they're pretty close to the Massachusetts level, and each one a little bit lower than national level for property crime. And for violent crime, they're pretty much just around the same. Each one, they get pretty close. Luker also states that canonical sampling is focused with determining the distribution of a population among known categories. I am also doing this by distributing my population among these three very different cities. The last city I will be looking at to do research in is in New Bedford. New Bedford is on the high end of everything. They have a lot of crime. They are higher than national average as well as the state average. Their violent crime rate is above national average by 220% and above state average by 177%. These are huge rates. Their property crime is above national average by 36%, also above state average by 70%. And this next actually shows you the graphs for New Bedford. For property crime, they're actually pretty good for property crime. They get a little higher as you go up. But for violent crime, you can see that the green is definitely higher than the state and national levels by a lot. So this would be a good area to get my high crime research done. And for this research to work effectively, I must hand out my surveys to individuals in each of these cities. I have made surveys with different age groups, and they ask various questions to see the ways they have affected society, and to see what they think of society. I have picked the age groups of 13 to 19, 20 to 30, 31 to 45, and 46 to 60. The age group of 13 to 19 is a very important one, I think, because during the teenage years is when they start to get their own habits. This is the way they grew up, and if they grew up listening to this music all of these years, what could the results become? These surveys will be a very, very valuable part of my research. I plan on distributing these surveys in a very easy way. The best place to hand out the 13 to 19 year age group surveys would be in middle school and high schools in each town. This is very easy and can be done with the help from the superintendent. The age group of 20 to 30 and their surveys can be achieved from a simple drop-in mailbox technique with a mailback address, as well as dropping them off at local businesses in the area. This can be the same with the 31 to 45 age group and the 46 to 60 group. These paper surveys will have a mailback address, so they can simply mail the finished survey back so I can get the results. I also plan on not only creating a paper survey, but also an online form of survey. A great survey technique website online is called SurveyMonkey. It's very easy to make. These will be made and put on Facebook through a Facebook group, and will be marketed and advertised to certain age groups. So when an individual receives a survey at his or her house, they either have the opportunity of filling out a survey and mailing the results in to me, or simply going online to complete the survey. Both these methods are very easy to complete. The online version will definitely be the faster option for them, as well as me getting my awaited results. On top of these important surveys, I am also going to add an indirect measure of research. This is another very easy and simple way of researching. I will go to local auto mechanics in each of these towns and get permission to check all the cars that were being serviced to see what radio station the car was currently turned to. Then, I will just get some of the information on the person that owned the car and hand him or her a survey to fill out according to what kind of music and radio station they were listening to. I also could offer an interview as well, too. I will next talk about measurement. There will be many key concepts that I must measure for my research and the different techniques of research I plan implementing. Kristen Luker actually has a very important quote, I think. She says, "In salsa dancing terms, I want you to tell me why I, a busy social scientist, might remotely be interested in your case or question. Why would I take hours or days out of my busy life to read the book that you're just getting ready to write? I know that you don't know all the details yet, because you are early on in the journey, but from the very outset, I need to know why I should care. This is very important, and there are many reasons to why a scientist should carry through with my research proposal. Next, the crime rate has been increasing since the introduction of gangster rap, and a lot of younger individuals are becoming more violent than ever before. The APA, or American Psychological Association, actually claims that statistics show that by early 1990s, the incidence of violence caused by young people reached unparalleled levels in American society. This is around actually the same time when gangster rap was also invented. A recent study was made by the Prevention Research Center of the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation in Berkeley, California, and this survey does suggest that young people who do listen to hip-hop and rap are more likely to abuse alcohol and commit violent acts. Could this be a coincidence or an actual relation to music and violence? One may know this from continuing with my research, and maybe something can be done with regulating the music so it is more accessible, especially for the younger crowd.